name is Rachel Bell, and I'm a judge here in Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm Dorsha James. I'm an emergency medicine physician, also here in Nashville, Tennessee.
And we've come together and we've decided we're going to have the Judge Rachel and
Dr. Dorsha show.
And this month, we decided we're going to talk about overcoming obstacles and challenges. In overcoming obstacles and challenges, we're going to tackle some issues that people have to deal with using the American Disabilities Act, children using individual educational plans for school, individuals with their jobs, employers, employees, and how the American Disabilities Act and people with disabilities are treated. I'm diabetic. I was diagnosed diabetic at the age of 13 years old. And I've had some challenges. I've had some times that I've had to make some adjustments with my health and my management for my diabetes. Right now, currently, I'm having another challenge. And with that challenge, because I also was diagnosed with a thyroid condition about 13 years ago, it makes the management of diabetes a little bit more difficult. And when my doctors told me that my thyroid levels were 10 times higher than they're supposed to be, and that was what was causing my blood sugar levels in the morning to have some more intermittent lows, hyperglycemia. Most of the diabetic comas I've had in my life, about 15 of them actually, have all been in the morning. I've slipped myself into them. The last one I had, I think my dad found me at home at about 10:30. I'm in a diabetic coma, and he was able to call the EMTs and get the emergency, the ambulance over and give me a glucagon shot, and I was able to come to. That's scary for diabetes, especially when you're asleep and waking up and trying to have a normal level. But going back, my doctors asked me if I could take this shot at home. I have to take the
Intramuscular
shot.
Levothyroxine, which is basically a thyroid medicine. She takes pills normally, and most people with thyroid disorder, they kind of keep it managed by taking a pill either every day, or she was on a different kind of regimen like every week. With all of the stress and everything that she was undergoing just over the past year or so, her thyroid levels really got off. They were really high. Those of you who have thyroid disorders, her TSH was in the 30s, which everybody knows is really high. And so her endocrinologist over at Vanderbilt actually gave her some, I was able, because I'm a physician and I'm also her friend, I was able to give her shots once a week to help get that level back to normal, outside of, taking the pills or increasing the dose, just because her levels were so high. And it was affecting her blood sugars, both because they run high and because they run low. And I actually get to see that firsthand.
I don't like shots.
At all.
But, I've got you can even see my medical records. They say I take 6.7 readings a day, so I prick my fingers 6 to 7 times a day. My blood sugars are running a little high right now. My averages are 171, so that's not good. I want to get it back down to about, between 100 and 150. That's my dream. That's my goal. But yes, the shot I take once a week. I went to the doctor the other day, and they did a blood panel for the TSH, the T3 and the T4 hormone. And your thyroid level is supposed to be between 0 and 3. Initially, when we realized I was having some complications in January, my levels were at 36. And now we just got the blood results back. I'm at 27, so I'm starting to feel better. Last week I had some really good days. I was able to wake up with a blood sugar at 114 and get on up to the courthouse, and somebody asked me, they said, well, why are you here so early today? I said, I felt good today. And then we had community court on Saturday. I was there with, Defender Don Diener and Glenn Funk, and we were helping people restore their rights and expunging records and waiving court cost fines and fees. And, that day I felt great as well. I woke up at I think my blood sugar was 114 again. But right at the end of it, about 10:30, my blood sugar went down to 59, and I had to, stop for a minute to go get some juice. And then everybody was gone, so I just had to sit in the car for about 30 minutes. I was eating a banana, I ate some oatmeal, and I had some orange juice. It took about 30, 45 minutes before my blood sugar could get up, so I really just sat in the car, and I was actually talking to Dorsha. She's like, I know you're not driving. I said, no, girl, I'm not driving. I'm sitting here drinking the juice and everything else. I'm going to test my blood sugar before I go. You should not try to operate any machinery if you're a construction worker when your blood sugar is low. You shouldn't get up and teach a class if your blood sugar is low. I remember one time in college, we were doing an interactive program, and we had to get up and speak before the group, and my blood sugar was going low, and I didn't realize it, and by the end of the class I couldn't get up out of the seat and walk. But there are things that happen when you continue to try to still act and try to act like everything's cool, because right now you can't tell there's anything wrong with me. Usually you can't tell anything's wrong with me at all until you see me start talking kind of funny or weird or getting agitated or something, because my blood sugar is going high or going low. But anyway, the challenge I'm going through right now, I'm trying very hard to go to sleep and wake up with a normal blood sugar level and get going. So one thing we're talking about this week, I meet with a rep later today. There's a new device that's just come out, and I'm really excited about it. I tried to get it last year, but my body wouldn't receive it. It's called the world's first continuous glucose monitoring system. It's a monitoring system that's about the size of my thumb, where it'll attach to my body right here. And having that, it will show you your blood sugar levels and how they're going throughout the day. So if they're going high, you'll know. If they're going low, you'll know, instead of you just feeling a certain way. And it'll buzz you. So in the middle of the night, it'll buzz me and say, blood sugar's going low, blood sugar's going high, instead of me having to set an alarm at 3 o'clock to wake up or 4 o'clock to wake up, which is usually during your REM sleep. And then in the mornings, I should be able to wake up with a normal blood sugar level because we'll have time to figure out what's going on after they said about 2 or 3 weeks.
As an emergency medicine physician, I've had plenty of patients. I had a gentleman he was an elderly gentleman, did not want to live with his family. He had his daughter really wanting him to live with them. However, he was diabetic and his blood sugar would drop, usually around 2 or 3 in the morning. And in this low hypoglycemic state, he would get up, get his car keys, or just get up and walk outside, no shoes. One time he was walking down the middle of a busy intersection. Another time he was driving the wrong way down the street, but luckily it was, early in the morning, so nobody was there. So I stop and think about just having something like this, that as the blood sugar starts to drop below a threshold, that they're buzzed or they're woken up to check their blood sugar, to take their insulin, to drink something. So this technology, and I'm so excited, both from the medical standpoint and then from a personal standpoint, because I have friends who are diabetic. Meeting Rachel and seeing how well and how she manages her diabetes. Like she said, she checks her blood sugars on average 6 times a day, but when it's up and down, up and down, up and down, she's checking it 10 or 11 times. And so as a physician, I realize that she is being, vigilant, more so than I've ever seen with most diabetics, on trying to keep that regulated.
So I'm on the board for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, and Dr. Dorsha was able to go with me last week. Some of the stories that you hear with the other diabetics, they are the same story that I'm going through. But one thing I wanted to know I want everybody to know that I'm thankful for. I have been thankful for it since I was a child, even playing basketball in college, in law school, and even as a young lawyer before I became a judge, was the American Disabilities Act. As soon as I became a judge, I went to HR, I went to the General Justice Court Administration Office, and I said, what kind of accommodations do we have for me with the American Disabilities Act? Because there are going to be times where I may not be able to be there for the first call of the docket, but I can be there by the second call of the docket. And they told me about the court guidelines that Local Rule 4.01 allows a judge not to be there for the first call, and the judge can be there for the second call. Because the first call is just check-in. It's just checking in to see if you're there. Are the witnesses there? Are the defendants there? Are the lawyers ready to go? And then it's time for the district attorney to also meet with the defendants, the witnesses, and make offers. And a lot of times there's 80 people on the docket, all set to come at one time, but each of them need 5 or 10 minutes to talk to the DA. So it gives them time to negotiate their offers and pleas during the first call. And then usually between the first call and second call, if there's something ready, I'm thankful for my colleagues. My court officer, my staff, they're doing the first call, letting me know what's going on, and I'm letting them know what's going on with me. And I say, you know what, today, second call may be a little bit later than 10:30 because I'm not feeling well. Can you get another judge to go in and handle whatever's ready right now so nobody's waiting? Sometimes people think they're waiting, but they're not waiting for their case to be heard by a judge. They're waiting to meet with the DA. They're waiting to meet with a lawyer. And so that's kind of the challenge or some of the scrutiny that I've received because I'm the only judge that doesn't do first call regularly because of my intermittent blood sugar glucose levels in the morning. But right now, I'm thankful for the American Disabilities Act. It's a reasonable accommodation. Some days are worse than others. I remember last week, one day, my blood sugars were just high and low, and I just couldn't get it balanced. So I told my staff, see if, the 2 or 3 other judges that are always willing to help out because they understand what I'm going through right now, especially with the thyroid levels being so high. The TSH hormone levels being so high that I've asked for them, there are going to be times I won't be able to make it. And last week I wasn't able to make it all day. My blood sugar started out at 400, 34, and I couldn't get it to go down because I have been diabetic for so long that when I take shots, sometimes it goes into subcutaneous tissue that doesn't absorb in my body. So it was about 1 o'clock before I could even get it down. And then when I got it down, it was low, and then it went back up. So it was just a bad day. I just felt horrible. And last week I had, a couple of days that were great. Had a couple of days that were mediocre, but it's my hope to get some consistency. When I played basketball in college, I just had diabetes. I figured that out. In law school, I was diagnosed with thyroid condition, so that's been a whole nother regimen And I'm having some complications right now, but we're working through them. I'm excited about it. I'm being proactive. As she says, I'm vigilant, trying. But I do end up getting some scrutiny
Even
here
though
and
it's
there.
a struggle with those shots, I swear.
Well, I think I'm getting one later today. But anyway,
You are.
we're working through it. We're working through it. But this month we're gonna be talking about people going through challenges and struggles, and how the American Disabilities Act still allows them to balance a playing field to enjoy and have a happy life, managing their diseases. I think we're going to get some more diabetics and maybe some other people here that are thankful for the American Disabilities Act and how it's helped their children, their family, and maybe even themselves as well. So that's what we're going to do this month,
Right.
overcoming
Maybe
obstacles.
educate people who don't even realize that there is something called the American, Disability Act that will help them get accommodations at work. They may be having issues with their diabetes, or and their supervisors and everybody are on them, or don't realize that they're actually dealing with a medical condition. Sometimes some people don't want the people that they work with to know their medical conditions because they are private matters, and sometimes they're embarrassed by them. So this way, we can be more transparent. We can let people know, I'm calling in so much because I have lupus and I'm having flare-ups, or I'm going outside because there's something in this room that's bothering my sarcoidosis. So let's be more transparent. Let's hear more about the ADA. Let's let people know that there are options, and those things were put in place because some people actually need them. And in conjunction with their physicians, in conjunction with their employers, they can actually have the accommodations that they need and try to live a normal life. Some people really do like to work. Some people really do like their jobs. And so this way it gives them an opportunity to do what they love, but do it in a way where they have accommodations and they have things that actually help them be more successful at work. So I think this is a great month for us to, and even educate myself on it, more of the ADA, because I don't think a lot of people are utilizing it the way that they should.
Right. And especially in schools.
Yeah, especially in schools, for sure.
Well, all right, this month,
All right,
overcoming
we got it.
obstacles.
All right, we got
Let's
it.
do it.